Earlier this week, Israel commemorated the mass expulsion of Jews from Arab lands. You may not know it, but 10 Arab nations and Iran expelled hundreds of thousands of Jews after the rebirth of the State of Israel. But that story is rarely told. For thousands of years, Jewish communities thrived throughout the Middle East. But all that changed in 1948, when Muslim nations reacted violently to Israel's birth.
Jews of Middle Eastern and North African descent, almost 900,000 of these Jews were exiled forcibly from their homes throughout the Middle East and North Africa when the State of Israel was founded.
After the 1967 Six-Day War, another wave of persecution hit and forced most of the remaining Jews to leave 11 Middle Eastern and North African countries. Linda Munichen became one of those refugees.
Nobody would want anything with the Jews, especially with the incitement going on the radio, in the mosques. So we were labeled like the fifth column. Also, more constraints were put, like you couldn't take out from your own account from the bank more than 100 dinars a month.
In 1970, Munichen and her brother left Baghdad for Israel, keeping their flight secret from their father, a prominent lawyer.
We didn't even kiss goodbye because I thought we'll meet one day. Anyway, I had to run away through Iran.
They escaped into the unknown.
I was disguised like an Arab woman, I looked, and my brother bought a very old coat. It was very cold winter. And to our big luck, everything went smoothly because at the time Jews were not allowed to be away from home more than 80 or 100 kilometers.
Examples like this happen all across the Middle East. Expulsions, seizure of property, and murder of the Jews.
In the aftermath of the Six-Day War in 1967, the mob in Libya, especially in Tripoli and Benghazi, took to the streets and started burning the homes of Jewish people and ransacking our warehouses. And my father's warehouse was burned. And then they came along and started pouring gasoline around my house. And a Muslim neighbor came down from the building and convinced the mob that the Jewish family wasn't living there anymore. And of course, he saved our lives.
American Gina Waldman started Jamina, Jews indigenous to the Middle East and North Africa.
And I always felt that there was a sense of injustice, that even though we really made a good life for ourselves in whichever country hosted us, nonetheless, we were never recognized for the wrongs that were done to us.
Two-thirds of the Jewish refugees resettled in Israel and the rest in other Western countries. Waldman and Munichen both say they were traumatized. Munichen says there's a message for the Western world today.
850,000 Jews were expelled or forced to leave or persecuted from Arab countries. And when we try to overlook these issues, they come again in a different way. So now it's the turn of the Christians who are being killed, shot, and we cannot see any effective action from the West.
For Israel, sharing the saga of Jewish refugees is part of gaining international recognition for their sufferings.
And we say, well, there are two sets of refugees. There are Jewish refugees and there are Arab refugees, and both sides should be compensated together.